I was really stressed when I woke up. I was like almost wanted to throw up. I had my belly like a little bit tight. I wasn't feeling great in the morning. I was like, okay, I feel something is really happening today.
Fore-play by Barstool Sports. We're back. Second show of the week. We got a lot that's happened since the last time that we did immediate U.S. Open recap. We've got the Bryson Victory Tour. We've got a Rory-McIlroy statement. We've got Tiger Woods is all of a sudden just exempt into everything that's ever happened in the history of golf and will happen. And we're supposed to have on this show Matthieu Pavon, who finished 5th place at the U.S. Open. He played with Bryson in the final pairing. So his perspective, by all accounts, he's the nicest guy. He was on the show a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago with Dan. And he's got obviously a phenomenal perspective on the U.S. Open, everything that occurred. It's still being talked about all over the place. I'm still seeing the Rory-McIlroy putt all over the place. So I imagine we'll talk about it. We got closest to the pin. We got from the gallery. So yeah, quite a bit to get to. We got myself, Frankie, and Trent, Dan. You know, I think about a month ago, I think somebody submitted a from the gallery that was like, you know, hey, what's the deal with, like, do you guys have to save stuff for the show? And what's going on with Tim? We somehow got on being like, yeah, like Dan just somehow has the most technical issues in the history of humanity when it comes to that. I think doing the cousin show with cousin Murray and cousin Mike, there were less technical issues. And Dan's got technical issues, so he's just not here.
Are we not going to open the show with Jordan Spieth committing to the John Deere Classic?
Wow.
I didn't even
News
see that.
to me.
News to these guys.
That's great.
He's in. The two-time champ is coming back to the Deere.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how much I want to give away because we've got something coming out, I would say within the next month or so. We went to the John Deere Classic. We went to TPC Deere Run. And I've said some pretty nasty stuff about that golf event. I've said some things about the Midwest that I'd like to take back, but you can't go back in time. Those things are etched in, the eternal internet that we just can't take back. But I've kind of changed my tune on that golf course. I mean, that course, let me tell you something about TPC Deere Run.
Hold on, let me take my clothes off.
That's a great golf course. And I'm not going to get too into it because we have a great series coming out through the Midwest. And it was big for, a big New York boy, a city boy, whatever you want to call me, a Northeast elitist, to go see the country. You need experiences to change your viewpoint on things.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a big moment for me. So I think a lot of Midwesterners are going to take a victory lap in the next couple of weeks as you see the smile on my face as I go through the great heartland of this country. And I want to apologize to TPC. I want to apologize to John Deere. I am a big grass guy now. I fix the grass in my front yard. Shout out to my guy Luke from Rockville Links. Front yard, backyard. I'm becoming one with nature and America. Let me tell you something. Jordan Spieth, if one more guy commits that, then you might catch me at the fucking John Deere this year.
Well, it flew under the radar, but Patrick Cantlay's playing in it too.
Oh,
why? Like, no,
don't ask.
Do we know?
Don't ask why. It's a great golf tournament. That's why.
I'm not saying why in terms of shitting on the tournament. I'm saying why because we haven't had a top 50 play there since like before we went to the moon. And I feel like now, Spieth and Cantlay.
Bro, we talked to JT Poston. He won that thing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked to him at the U.S.
So
Open.
did Bryson.
And so did Bryson. He was a huge fan of, he's been on the show. He's a familiar face on this show. But he congratulated the shit out of Trent, said he watched the whole thing, breaking 90, the whole deal. Asked us if we were going out to Deere Run. I mean, he's like, they treat us unbelievably there. I mean, I'm sure, especially being a prior winner, that you just like walk on pedals there at TPC Deere Run. Maybe you walk on like, I don't know, oil slicks or something. But that guy was talking this place up during tournament week. Like I've never heard a tournament be talked up. He's like, you guys got to go. It's unbelievable how good that spot is. Course is great. The accommodations are great. The food is unbelievable. I was like, oh my God, we got to get to the John Deere.
Well, it used to get fucked, and I don't think it is this year. I'd have to look, but it used to get fucked in the schedule because it was the week before the British Open. So guys would take that week off and they'd fly over, they'd play in the Scottish, or they'd just go over there to get adjusted to the time change and all that. So then that is why the top 50 thing, there was nobody there forever. And I think it's different this year, and it's been different the last couple of years where I think there's a week gap in between now. So now you're going to get the Jordan Spieths and the Patrick Cantlays and JT Poston going back to win it again. So, I think these are part of the reason. It's a great great part of the country. It's a great golf course. It's very funny. Frankie's saying, you got to travel to experience and grow. Most people say that about Spain or India or Japan. Frankie's talking about his own country. He's going to the middle of his own country, and he's like, wow, it's different. I'm broadening my horizons, but I don't want to shit on you for that because I like that you're saying that, and I like that you went there and enjoyed it. And I'm grateful for that.
As a Midwestern guy, and all my friends listen to the show, the number one thing that riles them up is they're like, Frankie just doesn't know anything about the rest of the country. Like, it feels like he just kind of knows his bubble. So I'm the same way. I think that's going to be very welcomed information for a lot of people that listen to the show that don't live in the Northeast.
Yeah. And I still, I still have my opinions, and I still have my way of living and stuff. Like, I'm still going to be a Northeast guy till I die. We have a lot of airports here. That's one thing that I really like about it. You don't have to drive 4.5 hours to get to somewhere like you do in the Midwest. But beautiful place, beautiful golf course, beautiful golf course. I played it a bunch on PGA Tour 2K23, and I'm like, why is this tournament and this course so highlighted? Even in a video game, it's like the first course that you play. It's the one that they always highlight there when you log on PGA Tour 2K23. And I'm like, fuck, man. We stepped up to by the third tee. I was like, this is an all-time Midwestern track. All-time.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. We got Travelers Championship this week. We got Rocket Mortgage. Then we got John Deere. And then the week after that is the Scottish Open. And then the week after that is the British Open. So it is like, I guess, a week or two before it usually is. I feel like a lot of guys would skip it. I think, like you said, because the Genesis Scottish Open is one that they love to play at Renaissance. I think it's probably still there. Yeah, Renaissance in North Berwick, gear up for the whole, British Open experience and all that. And yeah, clearly it's a week earlier this year. It made me, I a little bit laughed at like this whole Rory's taking a break from golf part of his statement, because the only thing he was going to play in was the Travelers this week. So basically his whole like, oh, Rory's stepping away from golf for a little bit. No, he's just like not playing this week. He wasn't going to play the John Deere, most likely. And, he wasn't going to play the Rocket Mortgage. So he's going to go play the Scottish Open, go play the Open Championship. But yeah, my father's a huge John Deere guy. That's pretty much all that he wants anytime we go anywhere. Like, he just wanted some John Deere. I think for the U.S. Opens are always like John Deere, and they have a little brand. I remember at Wingfoot when we did the whole video, like the Wingfoot logo on like a John Deere hat was the coolest thing in the world. I got him one of those. So huge John Deere guy, big in the Midwest, obviously. We're coming around on the John Deere. This episode is presented by Chevy, the Bowtie Iconic, and now that is blended with the Blazer EV. Electric vehicles are all over the place. Chevy's been doing them for over a decade. They've been making cars for over 100 years at this point. And Motor Trend, who just does it. They've just got the monopoly on saying, hey, these are the best cars. They're 2024 SUV of the year, and they judge big, small, gas, hybrid, electric vehicles, luxury SUVs. The Blazer EV from Chevy beat them all.
We were at the Glen Club yesterday, and someone pulled up in a Chevy EV Blazer. It was unbelievable. Ooh. Looking inside that, the interior was incredible. Everyone was oohing and ahhing, like, whoa, look at that interior. It really is. There's something going. Is that the 17-inch display? It was the
17.7 inch standard diagonal
pops,
display.
Man, when you do that old man look into the mirror, into the window, and you're kind of like, woo, you can't believe that interior. That 17.7 inch display of that infotainment system hits you like a ton of bricks.
We're also talking an available EPA estimated 324 miles of range on a full charge with Blazer EV's unique styling, comfort-driven interior, incredibly smooth ride, and responsive handling. Chevy has teed up the perfect electric vehicle to help you get anywhere you want to be. Head over to Chevy.com/Blazer EV to check out lease offers and amazing deals. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Scottie Scheffler it seems like he has his Instagram back. I feel like for a long stretch of this number one in the world run where he's been ignoring me and acting like we're not friends anymore, and he's just been like big timing us on the show. He really hasn't been running his social media. They've been very you could tell a manager has access to it, and it's always like, thank you to my partners. It's always Sunday morning. There's a post or something. Last night, the boys were back at Sally's of Pisa. You could tell that they were in New Haven. You've got, for us, it's like a local PGA Tour event. It's in Connecticut. and the boys are eating pizza. Sam Burns, I think you had Tom Kim there as well. They were eating burnt Northeast, just beautiful pizza. Some of the best pizza in the world, someone would argue. And it was nice to see. It was nice to see him just being a normal human being again. Just having, being on the ones and twos, posting it. You knew it was him hitting it. And yeah, it was just nice. I just like, that's the origination of me and Scottie is the pizza reviews. He would message me when he would hit a good pizza spot, and he'd say, have you and Dave gone here? We would have a nice little back and forth. So to see him back in the pizza game was just it was a nice feeling. It feels like we're getting back to just old Scottie a little bit.
I like that Tom Kim's in that crew. I feel like, he's really jumped into that crew. There's like the little brother thing from Full Swing and all that. But yeah, I like that he's in the mix there. Scottie was kind of the Terminator there for a little bit. Like he had the whole thing on his phone where he talked about like, I legitimately curate the news on my phone and not give any golf news on the Apple News and all that. Like he was as removed from all of it as he could be. He was this untouchable guy. But when he didn't play well, he was winning the Masters by like 4. So I agree with you. He's got a kid now. Well, back to being a normal human being. Travelers this week is, I know we talked about a lot about the John Deere, but like you said, home game Travelers. I think the first PGA Tour event that we ever went to, Trent and I went down for Keegan. We had Keegan's Army, I think. We handed out T-shirts, and he was like the nicest guy ever. We did a little meetup at the bar the night before, and the Travelers is very meaningful to anyone in the Northeast. Keegan was all emotional last year when he won it, so it's kind of had a similar reputation, I think, for people that play in it, of like, holy shit, the Travelers is awesome. Sports fans in the Northeast are known as some of the more passionate sports fans in the entire country. So this is like their one opportunity. People drive from Boston or New York, or if they live in Connecticut, go to the event. So it's always got great crowds for an event that's not a major, or a Jack Nicklaus or a Tiger Woods or an Arnold Palmer type event. And we've got a hell of a field other than like Rory. We got quite a crew that's playing this week. So it's a big event. Chasing Greens. Kirk and I did a little Chasing Greens sponsored by DraftKings this week. So we threw our picks in there for what we kind of like. We've got plus 802 on the fore-play. For the cut there's no cut this week. So we did a top 30 parlay. We threw in there, I think I took Keegan, and then we've got Robert McIntyre, Sam Burns, Sahith Theegala, all to finish inside the top 30 is plus 802. So if you're looking for a little bit of odds on the DraftKings Sportsbook, there you go. So yeah, we got a lot of action going on.
I'd love to know how they pick the signature events, the elevated events, because I love the Travelers. It's great. But I think I've always thought, and I had said this a few months ago, there should be a roaming elevated event. There should be one that sort of each year gets placed on a different one. Obviously, the Memorial and all those are the ones that are the elevated events for a reason, Jack's tournament, Arnie's tournament, whatever. But I do think there should be one roving elevated event. Travelers, John Deere, wherever they want to place it every year. So all these top guys have to go to these different locations, and these other fan bases that normally don't get to see these big names get to see the Scotties and, not Rory this week, but the big names that have to go to these tournaments have to go to these quote unquote lesser events that people want to call them. But if it's an elevated event one year, bang, it's going to spike, and people are going to be like, holy shit, I got to see Scottie Scheffler in Silvis, Illinois. How cool was that?
Yeah, like Detroit, when they go to the Rock, like, if they do, when they do that Detroit event, I feel like Detroit could use a boost. Like the PGA Tour could save Detroit. I know Big Cat tried years ago, but you bring Scottie Scheffler, Rory, and those guys up to Detroit, Tiger in the future going forward, if he could play, because he's exempted of these things. You're right. Like, that's going to be a huge boost.
Have a signature event rota, just like they're doing with the U.S. Open, just like they do with the Open Championship across the pond. Just have a set, like 4 or 5 tournaments that every couple of years it hits these things. I think that'd be a really cool thing.
I wonder how much of the determining factor is the field as opposed to like the people that attend the event, the annual income of like the surrounding area, like all that shit. Like, you think that they're looking at all of that stuff, or are they saying we could bring this field to quite literally anywhere and people will show up, advertisers will pay? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know what the determination is.
Right.
Yeah, I think a good amount of it is how much the partner is willing to up the ante, right? Because they're, these purses now have to be so high, whatever, have to be $20 or $25 million to be. And if you go to, like the Honda Classic, I know that one it didn't get hit as an elevated event, but like Honda was out. They were like, nope, we're just done now. Like people aren't coming to our event. We're not going to pay X amount for the purse. I think if you could get that combination of prestige with the sponsor offering up a lot more money, right? Because like I feel like a lot of these events had deals that were in place. It might be a 5 or a 10-year deal with X sponsor. And now you go to them in the middle of all this crisis and say, hey, we've got this existential threat, Live Golf, in order to kind of reinvent our tour and keep guys from going. We have to create these elevated events. So now, even though we had a deal where you were in for $15 million, now you got to be in for like $25 million.
Right.
Is that cool? And the sponsor might be like, fuck no, that's not cool. What do you mean? So I think a lot of that factors in too. But you're right. Like the surrounding area, going to big cities, and kind of the history of the whole thing, I think matters a lot. I'd love to see like the Wyndham Championship, where I've been to a few times. I love it there. It means so much to Greensboro and that town. Like, so yeah, I don't know how they factor all them, but I do feel like the sponsor is a huge part of that.
I didn't get to be on the show last episode. I was I was in the airport. They took my flight. They brought it back from being delayed. They undelayed it, which is just like
it's illegal.
The most illegal thing you could possibly do. It's crazy. But I do want to say PFT of Part of My Take, who has the funniest takes of all time with everything, had this one quote on Part of My Take where he said, Rory McIlroy has ruined gimmies for everyone in the world. And that's made me laugh every single time I said that in my head since he said it, because it's so true at this point, where we had the Barstool Classic in Chicago for the last 2 days. Amazing event. Shout out to everyone at the Glen Club. Great atmosphere, great golf course. But when we did the putting contest, we had these two guys going back and forth, and it's like you have 100, 150 people sitting around the green, whatever it is, and we're waiting for these two guys to make these putts, and everyone's like, give them the Rory putt. Like, it's becoming a thing now where if you don't make a 2-footer or 3-footer, like, it's the Rory miss. Or, like if you have a 3-foot slider, you got to make it. Like, Rory couldn't make that one. It's really putting people on edge now. And I don't know how long that will last, but I know for me, like, that's going to be in my rotation of things to say on the golf course. Me and PFT kind of went back. We did a video, and it's like there's a lot of these things that you like to say. Like if you hit one off of the cart path, you scream kangaroo. Our guy Vinny Lettieri, we've done videos with him a bunch on the channel. He's the king of these things. You putt one up, you got a dart in your neck. You putt one up a ramp, he calls it Tony Hawk. I think this new thing now, you miss a little tap in. I think the funny guys on the golf course are just going to start saying Rory, and it's going to get a chuckle out of everyone. And this might last for a long time, fellas. A long time.
Yeah, I think he'll be the most notorious short missed putter name,
ever.
Whatever, forever. I mean, especially as big of a name as he is.
That's so crazy. He's Rory McIlroy.
Venue as that was, dude. The fucking, like, the ratings came out, everyone was watching it. Like, for golf, it was like the most watched tournament in forever. And yeah, I mean, like the Wyndham Clark, from him lipping out at the Players Championship, everyone's been saying that ever since. When somebody has a violent lip out, it's like the Wyndham Clark.
Rory now.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
look at the statements that have come out. Rory put out a statement like somebody had died, and I'm with it. It was a big enough moment where it was one of those where notepad screenshot, like, yesterday was the toughest day of my 17-year golf career. And I was like, this is a worthy moment for a post like this, because it was that devastating. His best friend on tour, Shane Lowry, then posted a picture of him and Rory hugging, being like, we all got to realize that this is a really tough moment for our guy. And, he plays for more than himself. He plays for everybody. Like, this is going to last. This is a moment people are going to remember.
He didn't say a word for a day, and everyone's talking about his moments. He doesn't say anything as the guy that was the prince and says everything. And then, like you said, he still hasn't spoken. We haven't seen him. We don't know where he is. And he just releases like a dark, in terms of like, it was literally dark, like black with like white font on top of it, statement that did read like what everyone was thinking, where he's like, the toughest moment, the hardest things that stick out are the missed putts on 16 and 18. Bryson's a worthy champion. I'm taking time away from golf. And you're right, Trent. It was worthy. Everyone's read that. It was like, yeah, man, that's kind of what we were thinking. Holy fuck. Like, holy fuck.
It's as bad as it gets, though. Oh my God. Yeah, man. I still can't believe that happened. And I'm happy it did. Trent won a ton of money. I won a ton of money on it. I'm very happy that this ended up happening. Bryson is a worthy champion, but this one's going to stick. I have a problem with not remembering things a lot. like, you know, like I'm not good at knowing who won each Open and who won each US Open and Masters. I'm not good at recounting the big moments. If you tell me them, I obviously remember them, but like off the top of the head, the 2024 US Open is one that it had so much drama. It was such good television. It's up there with, like, you remember watching the finale of your favorite show. Like, I'll always remember watching the end of Breaking Bad. I'll always remember watching the last Game of Thrones episode. That feeling of like that final big moment of Game of Thrones, the Night King getting shattered, or you know what I mean? Like, that is the Rory missed putt will always be ingrained in our memories. And that's just
like, I think people would remember if Pavon had done that. If he had lipped out twice, people would be like, oh, that's the Pavon. Maybe that would stick around a little bit. Dude, it's Rory.
I know.
The guy who everyone has been waiting to win a major for 10 years. And he had it down the stretch, had Bryson on the ropes, and then lip over.
It's a great point, because we remember Mito Pereira, and like that's a no name. And we're always going to remember Mito Pereira from making that swing at the PGA Championship. Like, that's always going to happen. Rory times that by 1 billion.
Dude, talking with
Infinite.
Kirk about it, Kirk was even like, you know, because he did make the point, and one of the from the galleries I want to get to is like top U.S. Open or U.S. Opens like ever, and we talked about like the 2008 U.S. Open cannot be topped with like Tiger Woods and the playoff and the 2 eagles on Saturday and the torn ACL and the broken leg and all of that. Right. But even Kirk was like, he was like, I gotta say, this was up there with all of it, with like Live, with it being Pinehurst and how like the history of it, with all the pain stuff that was going on, and then how the leaderboard just started to unfold, where it was like, holy shit, Rory's finally going to do it. The crowds were insane. Everybody was tuning in. Every shot, you were living and dying on every single shot, whether you had money on it or not. And then it was looking like, fuck me, these guys are both playing like Bryson struggling a little, but he drove it on the green on 13 and had that eagle look, makes a birdie. Rory's making putts from everywhere. After at the British Open 2 years ago at St. Andrews, he had missed every single putt. You're like, holy shit, he's finally doing it. He had removed himself from being like the Live PGA Tour guy for the last year, so now he's locked in on golf. He had the quotes going in saying, I feel like I'm as ready to win a major championship as I've ever been. And it's like, this is the moment. And then on 16, for him to miss at short of a putt, 2 feet 6 inches, like, I'm trying filming these daily nines and stuff, and I just yesterday was messing around. It was like, I'm going to hit a few. I've got a tape measure in my apartment with this little putting green. I was like, I'm going to measure out 2 feet 6 inches and see. And like, it was impossible to miss a 2 foot 6 inch putt. It's impossible. It's like so fucking close that people would chirp you so hard if you didn't give it to him. Shout out to BFT in a match. And it just changed everything from that moment. Like, that's a 540-yard par 4 that he played perfectly. Ripped a drive 350 yards or whatever it was down the middle. Had an 8-iron in, hit it right at the flag, 20 feet short. Good effort for birdie. Everything's going fine. And then he fucking misses that. Hits a bad tee shot on 17. Good save. Bad tee shot on 18. Hits a decent chip above the hole. And then like misses again. And Kirk was like, I think that's the biggest choke in the history of golf. And he was like, Van de Velde's a fucking nobody. He's lucky to have even been in that spot. He's like, these other guys that have had chokes, Mito Pereira, he's like, that's Rory-McIlroy. That guy is like the best skill set in the history of golf. He's got the tournament locked up. He had a two-shot lead with however many, 7, 8 holes left. And for him to bogey 3 of the last 4, and 2 of them were just horrible missed putts, he's like, that's about as big a collapse, all things considered, in the history of the game. And it's like kind of hard to argue that.
Rory's just one of those guys. We talk about him on the show a lot when he's in the news for PGA Tour versus Live, and then the divorce is off. He can't help himself, and it's not his fault necessarily. It's just like, it's like written in the stars almost that Rory is going to make headlines and make news positively or negatively. He, it's just his cross to bear at this point. I apologize to Rory, but cosmically, you are a guy, and Tiger's one of these guys as well, where things are just going to happen to you, and people are going to talk about them a lot. That's just it.
Forever. And this will be remembered forever. I mean, I'll never forget just where I was, who I was with, the feelings that I had when those putts missed. And the one on 16, I think, is the reason he lost the tournament. Like, I think if he just cleans that up, I think he makes a better swing on 17. I think he makes a better swing on 18. He's in a different spot. He's in control of the tournament. I think that just rattled him enough to where it was like, oh, fuck, I'm kind of losing it. And next thing you know, it's like, yeah, if he makes the one on 18, he goes to a playoff, or maybe Bryson even misses, sure. But I think that putt was difficult. Everybody's talking about it. It snapped more than he thought. That one was kind of like a little more understandable, but fuck me. That putt on 16, you just have to make that. You have to just pour that in the back. You keep all the momentum. You're leading the golf tournament by 1. You got 2 holes to play. You can get in the clubhouse and like put pressure on everybody. And instead, it's like, oh, you start to feel one of the screws come loose on one of the wheels. And next thing you know, a fucking 20 minutes later, he's walking into the clubhouse like, what the fuck just happened? And oh man, my heart still just is. It's the same feeling from St. Andrews, but like a little bit worse. Like the St. Andrews one felt like that was his. He hit every green in regulation on Sunday. You thought he pretty much did everything you need to do to win one and still didn't win one. And then this was somehow worse. And I'm still 3 days later, like, have not stopped thinking about it.
Well, St. Andrews, Cam Smith came and won it too. His back 9, he came and grabbed it. And Bryson, we talked about on the last show a lot, but he definitely earned that win, that bunker shot on 18. Incredible. He had a lot of incredible moments throughout the week and throughout Sunday. Cam Smith grabbed that Sunday at St. Andrews. It just feels like Rory let this one go through his fingers, and it's not going to go away anytime soon, that sting.
Did you find any subscriptions you forgot about, or any you paid for twice and did not really realize it? Most Americans think that they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions. Get this, the real number is closer to $300. We are talking about Rocket Money, which is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending. It helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. They send you nice little notifications, which I love. When you have a big charge on there, when you spend more or less in a given week than you usually spend, this app is phenomenal for your finances.
This is the #1 financial app and only financial app that I use. It tracks everything. The subscription thing, very useful, very good. But the way it tracks your spending, just download it, hook everything up, and just start digging around a little bit. Start going in the search bar and being like Uber Eats, Uber, Starbucks, Uber, like Google these things or search them on the app. And you're going to be stunned at how much you're spending, and it's going to help you get everything in line. Rocket Money, it is incredibly valuable.
Especially now with all these streaming services like cracking down on you can't have them in multiple houses, and you probably had all these different accounts set up, and then you had to make a new one because you were trying to watch a show and you were rushing. This happened to me. It's like, oh, I thought we had a Netflix account, but I guess we're using someone else's. Now we got to make one. Then you make 2 and you're like, what the hell's going on? You don't even know. You're just clicking buttons. You're subscribing to things. Oh, maybe you want to watch a video. Oh, you got to subscribe to this thing. And then it's going to keep hitting you each month. You don't even remember it. Or New York Times. That's another one. It's like, I wanted to read an article once. It's like, you got to subscribe $2. And then like years go by. Like, I don't even read the New York Times. I don't know why I'm paying this thing. It lets you know.
With Rocket Money, they've got over, and believe this, wait for this, hear this, 5 million users that have saved a total of $500 million in just canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/4. That's rocketmoney.com/4. rocketmoney.com/4.
Have you ever seen, speaking of Bryson, and we are happy for Bryson, I actually shot him a congratulations message and he got right back to me within seconds. This guy is all over social media, all over his phone. Have you ever seen a more clear-cut, just juicy PR moment? Like, I don't know if he has a team, but like these guys have gotten handed the greatest opportunity to just make one guy become the most likable figure in like American sports, just like that, in the blink of an eye, in the snap of a finger. He has everything at his disposal. He's just like, I won the U.S. Open, and now I get to go through the checklist of all the things that are going to make me likable. And for some, like the country's eating it up. It could go either way. Like when Jason Tatum just celebrated at the NBA championships, it looked like everything he had done was very like predetermined, and like he did like we did it. He did the fucking Kevin Garnett. I can't believe we did it. And everyone's like, this guy's cringe. Like, don't ever do that again. He's trying to find his big moment. But then you've got Bryson, who is essentially doing the same thing where he's like, I'm going to like say these things in front of the cameras. I'm going to go on the Jimmy Fallon show. I'm going to have everyone touch the U.S. Open trophy, and like everyone's just eating it up. Like he went up to a kid and goes, "You can win." The kid just goes, "Way to win the U.S. Open, Bryson." He goes, "You can win the U.S. Open too if you try hard enough." Like he's fucking Joe DiMaggio talking to some sick kid on the street or something. Like, and everyone's like, "That's unbelievable," and it is, because he's just like able to do that. He's the U.S. Open champ, and he's just knocking everything out of the park. I don't know how to really describe it. It's like he knows he's being likable and he's doing it for a reason, and it's working. So good for him.
I think there's at least a small part of everyone that wonders how genuine the entire thing is, but also people are eating it up. And I think he's almost proven throughout time and over the last 8 years, however long it's been, that he's just like awkward enough that I think he doesn't even really know or is capable of concocting all of this stuff. Like, I do think he knows he's doing stuff that is likable, but I think he wants to be doing it. Like, I don't think he's doing it and in the back of his head as he's doing it being like, this fucking sucks, fuck all these losers, I can't believe I have to do this. I think he's doing it and he's getting a thrill out of people loving it, but he is like doing it on purpose, like running around, being like crazy with the trophy and making sure that everybody touches it, and the jumping in the bunker with Johnson Wagner. Like, he before he won any majors, he jumped on the driving range with Frankie Borelli at the PGA and tried to help you. Like, I do think a part of him loves that type of stuff. I think a part of him, just this way that he was telling Frankie, like, don't listen to all these fucking people yelling butter knives. He was saying that to Johnson Wagner. Like, don't worry about that. Like, do this and hit the shot this way. Trust me, you got this. I think he does eat that stuff up. I think that he really is kind of a one-track mind. I want to be best golf robot ever type mentality, and that's just all he cares about in the world. And he's kind of found a way where he has a medium, a platform that he can use to be himself in there, and he's almost more comfortable talking to a camera, as we talked a lot about on Sunday night show, Monday mornings, looking directly at a camera and like addressing people there. And he said, I could see the people like through the camera, and he's able to kind of do that and see the reaction. And it's a positive reaction that I think he gets like endorphins from. He gets a kick out of it. But I do think you're right. Like, he knows he's doing it. I don't think that means it's disingenuous, but I think he knows that it's working. I think he knows he's doing stuff because people eat it up. But I also think he kind of likes doing it.
Yeah, and everyone is a victim of this. Like, we all do it, right? Like, Breaking 90 is catching a lot of heat, is catching on, and everyone's starting to watch it. We're just going to keep doing episodes like that because we want people to like watch our stuff, and we know that it's working. He's like, oh, everyone likes when I like walk around with this huge U.S. Open trophy and touch it. I'm going to keep doing that. Every video I'm dropping is doing millions of views by me saying a certain thing. I'm going to just keep doing that. That's not like any hate on him. It's just funny that like you have two guys who won championships, and this Jason Tatum thing is going negatively for him. Everything that's going viral about Tatum is that he tried to find his big moment, and he was super cringe, and he dropped the ball, and like KFC did a 1 minute man on it. Like, everyone's just like, this guy sucks right now with the way that he celebrated. And then Bryson's essentially doing the same thing, where it's like this constructed PR move of like, I am the guy that just won this thing. Everyone congratulate me. And everyone's like, that's the best thing I've ever seen in golf history. That's the coolest thing. So yeah, it's just, it could go either way, and good for him that it went successfully. What a ride this guy has gone through. He was the nerd, and then he went to live, and like everyone obviously was like, that's a bad move in the beginning, because everyone just didn't want anyone to be associated with the Saudi Arabian regime.
Dude,
and then live ended up being the greatest thing.
Like that interview that he did right after he went, which was like, wow.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, that one.
Like, he couldn't even like answer questions really, and it was fucking weird. And he had the rope thing, and he had the like slow play stuff and all that. So yeah, it's been a ride.
It was such a roller coaster for him. And then YouTube golf just completely changed this guy's life. He figured out a way to not have to be on other people's channels, where he just like, I'm going to create my own, and this is what all athletes should kind of do. And we've said like they all should do that. Like they would take our jobs away from us if everyone just did their own thing. And he's doing it, and he's crushing it, and it's amazing to see. Live was like the greatest thing that's ever happened to Bryson. He got to just be away from everyone. we only got him in small doses. And when we got him, he was a fucking firecracker, and it's been unbelievable to watch. And I am happy for the guy. It's been a great, whenever a guy goes up and down and then makes his way back up, it is nice because you just see like it means a lot to him to get back to that point. He didn't give up. A lot of guys with all that money and he went to live, like like a guy like Dustin Johnson doesn't give a fuck about getting to the top anymore. And like, it's just like he's just giving up. He got his paycheck and he went away. And Bryson could have done the same thing. He's like, you guys fucking hate me. Why should I do anything? And
Dude,
he just came back, man.
Now the Bryson thing for Liv is the best thing that ever happened to Liv. Like people,
100%.
golf, Bryson is the biggest star in golf right now. Like, and people are going to want to see him. Like the people who are watching his YouTube videos and all this younger demographic that he is grabbing and people love him. They're going to be like, I want to watch this guy on TV, or I want to watch this guy on whatever platform. And he might be a big piece of like Yasser now has more leverage because of Bryson DeChambeau.
100%. We've always said this since Liv became a thing, that like each major championship for Liv is a big thing. No one wants to really make it that like Liv versus PGA Tour in the majors because it's a major that neither entity owns that event, but it is a big thing. Like when one of your guys goes out to that separate event and wins against all the PGA Tour guys, it is a big thing. It was Liv versus Rory, even though that was an underlying story, but it still was a story.
Well, this is all like, and it's case by case with winners too. Like Brooks won at Oak Hill, and it wasn't like this. I get what you're saying, where it's like, wow, there's still viable competitors on Liv when they meet up with everybody at these four majors. The Liv guy is still going to win, but it goes to another level when it's Bryson, and he is a showman, and he's running around and letting everybody touch the trophy, going on all the late night shows, being very visible, putting out YouTube videos, doing Snapchat, doing TikTok, like him using the platform, really using it. Like Brooks ultimately, I think, doesn't give a fuck about all of that. Bryson is like, I'm going to embrace all of this. And that makes him, as a Liv guy, an even bigger deal in terms of Liv versus PGA Tour. Way bigger.
Yeah, and I think we've probably said from the beginning, the guy that we miss the most on a day-to-day basis in golf is Bryson. He just delivered headlines. If you go back through this show,
Patrick
he might.
Reed.
Yeah, and true. Like for similar reasons at times. Like there are times where they're kind of in the same boat. And if you went back to the history of this podcast, which has been 700 episodes or whatever it's been, like outside of Tiger Woods, Bryson might be the guy we've talked about the most on this show. Good, bad, ugly, awesome, in defeat, in victory, all of it. Like he might be the guy we've discussed the single most over.
He's the guy. I mean, my memory's starting to go, and you just named how many episodes we had. He's the one who told Frankie about butter knife and his wedges, right?
Yeah.
And we went crazy in that old studio in the old office. We had him. It sounds like now we had him on like a payphone, and he's like,
wasn't he
Frankie,
like
at least I don't butter knife my
time
wedges.
We ever had him on.
Wasn't he in like a hot tub or something? He's like, I'm just chilling in a hot tub in my backyard.
He was in like Albany in the Bahamas, I think, in like his fucking hot tub or whatever.
Yeah, we've had quite the history with him. One of my greatest moments ever was when he gave me that chipping lesson at Bethpage at the PGA Championship. That was
big for us.
People don't realize that was the first time in PGA Tour, major, DP World, whatever you want to call it, where a player let a media person like under the ropes to hit a golf shot in front of you know what I'm saying? Like it was, he blended media and golf, and it was like, whoa, we were the bad boys of golf. We went under the ropes with a wedge onto a major championship driving range on a Wednesday. They put my name up on the Top Tracer scoreboard, and they were tracing my shots with Bryson. And we had thousands of people behind us on a packed range watching me hit shots at Bethpage. That had never been done. Now it's like the floodgates opened after that, where it's like, oh, they're going to, like, if you interact with a guy like that with Barstool or with any of this like secondary media, you're going to become this huge, likable figure on the internet. Because everyone was rooting on Bryson after that. It was like, holy shit, if he's one of our guys, we're one of his guys. That's awesome. Like Bryson's our guy. And yeah, it's just been, and also we flip flop. Like I've hated Bryson. I've loved Bryson. I've hated Bryson.
The flip flop show.
It's a flip flop show. Also, how come no one fucking goes after Brooks Koepka for he's his best friend now, dapping him up, tweeting out 2-time U.S. champ. That guy fucking hated Bryson. Like real hate. eye rolls, walking around. Like, he wanted
I would
to
argue
kill
he
that guy.
probably still hates him.
He probably still hates him. So, like, go fucking get up that guy's dick then about flip-flopping. That guy's hugging him on the range
stuff,
now. Come
remember
on.
the Brooksy stuff? Like, the Brooksy stuff was, Bryson was legit. People are going to, like, really, really deep lengths to claim, like, mental health bullying and everything on what was going on with Bryson at that time, where he couldn't hit a golf shot without all that going on. They were, like, making rules at tournaments, being like, if we hear the Brooksy stuff, you're gone.
Yes.
That's how severe that shit
was
was.
crazy.
Go listen to old Part of My Take episodes where they would, the whole entire episode would be about Bryson DeChambeau being a bitch and being like a nerdy guy, and DeChambeau and DeChambaby and all this stuff. They would just say his name wrong, and it was all the nerdy Brooksy stuff. It was bad, and we were on that side also. Like, we were anti-Brooks, anti-Bryson, anti-Brooks, and now everyone's just like, everyone's patty caking, everyone's slap assing, everyone's grab dicking. It's just, and we're the ones that get the tweets like, you guys hated this guy 6 months ago. Everyone did.
Yeah, I mean, and I still, like I said at the beginning, there's a part of me that's a little bit, my guard's up a little bit, where I'm like, all right, he's leaning into it, like, the whole thing quite a bit, but I still think it's fucking cool. I think, like, when he was hitting the glow balls in front of people with, like, and just putting on there that he's, like, pretty drunk, we're gonna see how this goes. Like,
he's at Trump Westchester, so, like, all that crowd's like going nuts. It's PR fucking gold, man. Gold.
Yeah. It's no, he's on top of the world right now. He fucking earned it. And I think that he puts more time into this shit than probably anyone else. I mean, he thinks about it differently. He's got the I saw him on the Pat McAfee show, literally showing the guy his 3D print irons and the whole deal. And it's just wild. He's a cartoon character. He's Hulk Hogan of golf. He's hitting up the fans in the middle of the round. He's walking through high-fiving people and then hitting drives 400 fucking yards and then winning the U.S. Open. Like, it's wild. It's wild.
He's perfect for the game of golf.
Perfect.
He's not just good. He's perfect. People say he's good for golf, great for golf. Bryson DeChambeau is perfect for the game of golf. He is a major championship winner. He is a guy that thrives at the top of his game and then also can take it down to the lowest form of a golf fan, that he'll still bring them in. If you just scroll on YouTube, you might just click on one of his videos and he's going to get you. And he's getting the lowest to the highest, just biggest and lowest fans of golf, and he's bringing them all together. And he is just perfect for it. It's like the nerd who worked, the scientist, the laboratory guy. You couldn't make Bryson in a lab if you tried. He's perfect.
He put out a YouTube video 24 hours ago, and the title of it is, I won another major championship. He's perfect.
We can't.
How many
we'll never
views
be
does
able
that
to do
go?
that. We just won't be able to do that.
550,000.
That's
in
good
24
stuff.
hours.
That is good stuff. No, he's incredible. On the other side of it, the Rory stuff, he's been getting a little bit of flack for not being the guy that hung around. He didn't shake Bryson's hand afterwards. He got in his car, he peeled off, took off, and then all we've heard from him is a statement. A lot of the live accounts were showcasing how Bryson, after he lost by one, stuck around and, shook Xander's hand. Rory didn't do that and show any kind of the same respect to Bryson. Just for me personally, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. I kind of love that it stung Rory so much that he had to get the hell out of there. It made him sick to his stomach. The way that it happened, too, I think is just a lot different. Bryson at the PGA finished phenomenally strong. He had a bunch of birdies. He made the putt on his 72nd hole, and then the guy made a really sick putt to beat him. Rory's going to be known for puking it away. We just did a whole segment about how it might be the biggest collapse when you think about everything and all the context and how good he is, his role in the history of the game, in the history of major championship golf. And so I have no issue with it whatsoever. I kind of love that. I enjoy the hell out of the fact that all we've seen from Rory is just a pretty dark, sad statement admitting that this fucking sucked. This is the worst thing I've ever gone through in my professional golf career, and I need time to just get away from the game. I think we always want to watch stuff where people care, where it's real, where it's genuine. That's been kind of the theme of the show, is how genuine are people about their reaction, fist pumps, celebrations, defeats, whatever you want, whatever's going on in their life and their career. I think it's about as genuine as it gets for Rory. I think it's affecting the shit out of him when it comes down the stretch at these majors that he hasn't won one in so long. It clearly affected him in those putts. And I have no issue. In fact, I'm such a Rory homer guy. It makes me like him even more that he just got in his car, got the fuck out of there. The clear clear just devastation on his body language when Bryson made that putt and they had the camera on Rory inside the clubhouse. So I understand people being like, this guy looks like a bitch and not a graceful loser while the other guy doesn't. But I kind of love the fact that Rory's just so sick to his stomach he had to get the hell out of there.
Everything about Sunday was perfect. Rory won't see it that way, but as a golf fan, a guy who has a golf podcast with you guys, it was perfect. I'm with you. I want to see the guy who lost the golf tournament so beside himself that he just walks away. That he almost was in a daze, and he just sort of walked away from Pinehurst number 2, and it was in a car, and then he was in a jet, and then he's in Florida, and it's just over. Sure, people love sportsmanship. They love people slapping each other's asses after the game, shaking hands, whatever. But if it devastates a guy so much that he just disappears from the venue before anybody even knows what's going on, it's another moment that we're always going to remember. And that's what we want as sports fans. That's it.
As a viewer and as a fan, you're allowed to enjoy more than one reaction. Like
100%.
It's not supposed to be a carbon copy and paste. Just every time someone loses, they're waiting on the 18th green to shake the guy's hand. That's not how the world works. That's not how real reactions go. When you lose something that devastating, that important to you, you're not going to just think about, oh, what's it going to look like on TV, or what are my fans going to think?
Guy's hand.
Yeah, I better go shake that guy's hand, because then it's going to be a tweet, and then it's going to be a video, and then I'm going to be in the
just
news.
like, I'm out of here.
He's just like, I really wanted to win that thing, and I think I'm going to go puke, and I'd rather go do that at home. So I'm just going to get the fuck out of here because I'm upset, and this meant a lot to me. And I think fans should be able to enjoy that just as much as they do seeing him shake the guy's hand. I don't know why, as a culture, that we've like only accepted the thing that has always been accepted. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, after tournaments, that guy shakes that guy's hand. That's the only thing that we will like if that guy does that. Everything else, we hate it. Like, what does that fucking mean?
Weird.
Who was it from the Last Dance? Majority of them, like, who their rivalry was so bitter, like one of the teams just stormed off the court and like refused to basically shake anyone's hand.
I think it was Isaiah Thomas and those Pistons.
Dude, I got no fucking issue with that. Like, there is pure rivalry and hate, and how deep the emotions are in that moment. It's better for golf if you're not, like, we've made fun of Ricky Fowler for a decade for being the guy that just stands on the edge of the green and shakes all of his buddies' hands when they win major championships. Of course we make fun of it. We're like, dude, why don't you need to be a little less buddy-buddy, a little more fucking ruthless. You need to kind of hate these people in the moment. You would have never seen like Tiger Woods standing there waiting for Phil Mickelson after he wins like a Masters. You fucking kidding me? So I'm with you. There shouldn't be one. It's nice to see. We love the sportsmanship, all that. We can all talk about that. And there's a great clip. And maybe if Thursday, the next major at the Open Championship, you saw, or on the practice range or whatever, you saw Rory go up and have a nice moment with Bryson where he really congratulated him in person. That's lovely to see. But I fucking love hearing stories. I remember Ed Belfour, when the Blues beat him one time, the goalie for the Blackhawks back in the day. It was like reported, and there were pictures that came out of him just taking his goalie stick and breaking the fuck out of like a coffee table that was like in their locker room and when they played the Blues. And you're like, hell yeah, they should hate each other. You know that like Rory knows that a bunch of the guys on Live have talked so much shit about him. And whenever Liv announced the merger last year and there were tweets going out that were kind of shitting on him, and you know that they have all their backstory, like all of those connotations are involved in the whole thing. He knows it's kind of him versus Liv in that moment. Bryson's representing the Liv guy. He knows that Cam Smith was kind of representing Liv, even though he wasn't there yet when he took him down at St. Andrews. Like, all those undertones are there. You want to see your athletes purely fucking devastated when they lose. I think it makes it that much better. So, like I said, I kind of like Rory more for the way he handled the whole thing.
It's also
what's even the devil's advocate side of that? Oh, you're going to teach kids that like there's no sportsmanship. Like, all right, I want to show the kid that this one guy cared so much about winning that he's going to like leave and come back stronger than ever and try and win the next major because he wants to win so badly. I think that's a better lesson than just waiting around with your fucking hat behind your tail between your legs being like, congratulations, Bryson, I don't even care about this.
It's also just what happened. He did it, and you don't have to critique something that everything that somebody does. You can just watch it happen. You don't have to be like, oh, he should have. Oh, he left. He should have shook his hand. Right. It's like Roy left, and that's it. That's the reality.
Like, you could go back his whole entire day, and you could critique every single aspect of his whole day.
Sometimes you just ride the wave, baby. Just whatever happens. Oh, Roy left. Wow, that's interesting because it is interesting. but you don't have to be like, he should have fucking shook his hand,
I
got
fucking
on his
hate
knees
that.
and sucked his dick. Like, no, things can just happen. And you don't have to be like, no, go do that. I wanted you to do this.
It's also like every single person making that comment, Rory-McIlroy has lived a 8 million times more impressive life and as like a better person than every single one of those people. He's fucking worked his absolute dick off. He's provided for his family and his parents. He's inspired tens of millions of people. He's like rallied all of Europe behind the USA and all of these Ryder Cup matches. He literally rallied like everybody for the PGA Tour against these bad like Saudis that were coming in. Like, he's insanely impressive. You're going to be like, this is what that guy should have done. It's like, what the fuck have you done? What are you talking about?
Or
like,
just watch. Just watch
Yeah.
it. That's it. That's what I would recommend for people. Just watch it and be like, oh, wow, that happened. And then go grocery shopping.
just go cook a little
It's that
dinner.
simple. You don't have to get riled up about someone doing something that you view as wrong.
What a U.S. Open, man.
So
What a
good.
fucking U.S. Open. That's the best major we've seen in a long time. That just delivered everywhere. It was so fucking good. God damn. Makes me like, God, it makes me just like, I want that so often. That thrill of, and I got a little bit of it in the hockey game last night. I'm like very into this fucking Oilers-Panthers series. It's all of a sudden turned into a thing. But that is just, sports are the best when they're riveting like that. And that U.S. Open was awesome.
Looks like via Instagram, looks like Max Homa had another hole-in-one when he was playing today. It's his 10th hole-in-one, he wrote.
Ooh, congratulations,
A lot.
Max.
That's a lot, man.
It's a good amount. It's a good amount.
Between the three of us, we got 0. We play a lot of golf.
Fucking nothing, man.
Doesn't Tiger have like no hole-in-ones, like or a very small amount than what you would think?
It would be, I think it's like in like professional events, it might not be as many as you would think.
Right.
But I think he's got like 20.
Just,
But in actual like PJ Tour events, I don't know what that number is. And he obviously has the one at Waste Management.
Sure did. He had to won his first PGA Tour event as a professional. I believe he made one.
Three PGA Tour.
Yeah, that is not as many as you would think.
90. Yeah, he hasn't made one since 1998.
Really?
Wow, he made
1996
first,
Greater Milwaukee Open, the 97 Phoenix Open, of course, and then the 98 Sprint International. So 3 years in a row, he made a hole-in-one.
And just think, like, how close does he come? He came close in the 2019 Masters on Sunday.
God,
like,
if he would have, that would have been the most iconic shot in history if that would have got in.
And before that, it was his other shot on that hole. Like, that hole, he's just making memories. But yeah, you think a guy like that who's just all over it, and you can say this about a lot of professional golfers, but he was the best and is the best. He's just all over those flag sticks all the time, playing in all these tournaments.
Hasn't made a hole-in-one in a PGA Tour event since 1998.
The fact that he didn't make it during that run from 2000 to 2009 is stunning.
I know, he made everything.
He made everything. Best player in the world. It wasn't even close how much better he was than everyone
Best
else.
player in history.
Yeah.
He did play the best golf fucking
And
ever,
just never
man.
teed it up on a par 3 where he was like, all right, now I got to go pick that ball up out of the hole.
It's
But again, we're also talking about a thing that's really difficult to do.
funny. So Tiger Woods says he has made 20 hole-in-ones. Jack Nicklaus claims he has 21. It's true. I mean, that's actual fact. It's
those
on
two
Golf
just-
Digest.
Those two historically just a big old dick measuring contest.
Phil Mickelson claims he has 47.
I love it.
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of Kim Jong-un going on in there. Like
47?
Yeah, Nicholas got 21. I got 47. 47.
Speaking of that hockey game, I got closest to the pin if we want to do that now.
I would love to do that. I would love
closest
to do
the
that.
pin.
Mhm.
Presented by
Closest to
Fireball,
the
I
pin.
believe.
Fireball whiskey, baby. That iconic cinnamon whiskey, 50 milliliter shooters, boys. Speaking of Fireball whiskey, did you guys get a nice little care package from our friends at
Oh, yeah.
Sazerac.
We got, oh my God.
That 12-year-old
Fireball.
Weller? Wow.
Oh, 12-year-old Weller. And then did you check the Buffalo Chase bottle? Did you see the thing on there?
What?
Oh, wait, what? I mean, the Buffalo Trace bottle was in there, but what was it?
On the Buffalo Trace bottle, mine has etched small in the side. There's a little fore-play logo etched into the Buffalo Trace bottle. I know. Our good friends at Sazerac, there, Fireball whiskey. They make all kinds of great stuff. We did the tour during the PGA Championship. You see this thing, Trent Daddy? You see this thing, Trent Daddy?
There's Buffalo Trace.
Oh shit! Yeah, I didn't see that. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Buffalo Trace is a great bourbon.
Oh my God, it's an all-time classic. It's in the rafters, right? Like you just hang that one in the rafters of all-time great bourbon. But Fireball whiskey, perfect for the golf course. You're not going to bring these awesome bottles of Weller 12 year or Buffalo Trace etched with the fore-play logo out onto the golf course. You're going to bring a little Fireball whiskey, baby. Oh, 50 milliliter shooters change your whole life.
Dude, we found a barrel. It'll be in a video coming soon. We found a barrel of Fireball whiskey. That is a barrel, and it has 3 spouts coming out, and you lift it up, and everyone can either take shots out of it, or you can fill up your shot glass with
we didn't find it. We were given by the good folks at Sutton Bay.
Yeah. I didn't know how much I wanted to give away, but they just had it for us. They had it waiting for us. I don't know where they found it. I guess that's just something that just is just in South Dakota. But wow, it was something. It had some weight to it, man. And we did some damage.
We really did. All right, so I've got close to the pin this week. We'll start, since Riggs brought up hockey, we'll start with Stanley Cup Finals.
Do you want to update real quick?
Yeah, please. Oh, yeah, let's do that.
I just love this update because I jumped 2 of you.
Wow.
What the
fuck?
I noticed that Alex didn't take my my request to have him be on the screen when he does this because, I mean, I guess today he's filled with some sort of ointment.
I can do that.
Oh, there he is.
Josh
There's
Allen,
no sort of sauce
Jersey.
all over him or anything. Okay,
he's usually eating gravy during these
gravy, barbecue.
Yeah, it was gravy.
Barbecue.
It was gravy all over.
Jesus
That's what it was.
Christ.
Fluff a nutter on his chin or something.
All right, let's do last week and then updated rankings.
Okay, last week winning score to par at Pinehurst was 6 under, and Dan and I both had 4 under. Everyone else was 3, and then Riggs had even. Tiger Woods scored a par after round 2, 7 over. Dan and Alex both 5 over. And then I think we did it again. We cursed someone. Scottie Scheffler round 2 birdies, 0.
Damn, dude.
So Frankie took that one. He's the only one who didn't have 4.
Wait, who got that one?
Me. I
Frankie.
think I said 2.
You said 2, and everyone else said 4.
0.
Wow.
And
Like his first round in a major ever, I think, with like 0 birdies.
We cursed again. And then the last one was highest score on a single hole.
Oh.
Shout out Justin Ray, who got the staff for me. It was 9. It was so hard to find, but 9 was the highest hole on a score. So Frankie, Trent, and I all got double points there.
Let's go.
Did you?
Jesus.
So, wait, you reached out to Justin Ray and asked him?
Yeah, because I would have had to go through every single round of every single player.
I
So
love that.
he
We
had
love
it on
Justin
hand.
Ray. Shout out to
He
him.
found it in like 5 minutes.
Of course.
So
Justin Ray had that. He had that stat of the 496 of 496 inside 3 feet this year for Rory McIlroy. I mean, he's got to feel as a stat guy, and like his thing is stats. When he gets a stat that goes that viral,
Dude.
it's got to be
That's
just
his
jerk
Tiger
fest.
clip.
Just
That's his
jerking
Tiger
it off.
driving on his knees
Yes.
clip. That's like as good as it gets.
Oh,
That stat took my breath away, the 496.
Oh, man,
Viral.
that's a lot.
All right, then what are the updated rankings
okay.
overall?
yeah, the updated rankings. Trent is fucking destroying us. Trent has 41 points. Closest to that is Dan with 28. Alex 26, Riggs 24, or Frankie 25, Riggs 24.
I've said this in the past, but it's the least applicable talent you could have. Like, what am I going to do with that?
Like 3 or 4 of them. Still destroying.
you're dominating.
I am dominating. All right.
Who's missed the least is probably Bush. Aren't you on every show, Bush?
The only one I would have missed was my vacation, but you sent me them early to do, so I didn't miss any. But I didn't do it for the first like 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We didn't think to include you for a while. We should go back to that.
All right. This week's close to the pin. First one. How many total goals will there be in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals on Friday?
Wow. Connor McDavid in 2 elimination games back to back has 8 combined points in those 2 games. It's a number that like it got a million ha-has in my group chat where I just wrote Connor McDavid has 8 points in the last 2 games. Stanley Cup final games, that is so fucking ridiculous. He might be the best athlete in the world. He might be the best current pro athlete.
He honestly might be. I mean, he is fucking unbelievable. The assist he had last night where he just skated through their entire team in the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5, against Florida, who was just unbeatable. That was
Crazy.
outrageous.
And
All
hockey haters are gonna go nuts that I said that. They're gonna have all their other athletes at the Patrick Mahomeses, and it's just
Scottie
what he does
Scheffler's
in
up
that.
there.
Yeah, but it's as an individual game. It's like what he does, man. It's hard. It's hard to even compare.
You think
All
it's
right,
going
so-
7?
I do. I think that place is gonna be fucking insane.
I think we're going to see a little overtime action.
All right, I'm in there.
All right. Trent Ryan 7,
Oh,
Alex 6, Riggs 7,
Oh,
Frankie
Wow.
7.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Damn.
Love
so
that
if it's
spot.
just
That
a
is
low
big
scoring
for
game.
you.
Alex Bush just fucking wins. Okay.
Yeah, if it's 6 or less, 4-2
Yeah,
game.
but we could all get 2, which would be nice. Leapfrog
Sure.
him.
All right, next one. What will Ludwig Aubert's finishing position be at the Travelers? Finishing position, not to par, but where is he going to finish overall?
Guy's a problem.
Guy's a problem. I mean, he could win this thing.
All right. We're all in. Riggs 1st, Frankie 9th, Alex 1st,
Wow.
Trent 8th.
Ooh.
I took him this week.
I did
On
too.
DK.
We just on
Fucking 8
Chasing
kills
Greens,
me.
I took him.
I knew there was going to be at least one person who picked him to win because he can absolutely win that golf tournament.
Yeah, I
So
know.
now
It
Trent
feels-
basically gets just like a top 10. He wins 5, 6, 7, 4, 3. I mean, that's a good spot to be in.
That's how you become the greatest, closest to the
Yep.
pin player of all time.
in history.
right.
By getting a land.
Anything after 9th is Frankie, though.
Wayne
Bad
Gretzky
week
of
for
closest to the
Ludwig, and I
pin.
win.
All right, for this next one, I actually need your guys' help. I want to do one regarding the dozen because the dozen championship is happening in Chicago. We love Jeff D'Lo. We love the dozen. The championship is Thursday night, and I want to do one that has to do with the dozen. I just don't know what it could be.
What will the combined score of the final championship be?
That would work.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
All right, let's do that. What is the combined score of the dozen championship on Thursday night?
And so people know a lot of the games are what, like 14 to 12 and stuff like that.
Well, there's 12 rounds, and then if you get it right, you get a point. If you get the other team's question right, you get a point. So it could be 16 to whatever. You know what I mean? You can get a lot.
Yeah.
It could be a blowout.
Or
Could
you
be.
do, because I feel like those numbers are going to be kind of similar. Like, what is the point total for the losing team in the dozen championship? Or we can
Or
do
the winning
combined.
team. Do combined because
Okay.
there's 24 total points. Or is that wrong?
But there's a couple that have more, you get more than 1 point.
Oh, right.
Right. Isn't it for your niche category and for like
This one's tough.
when they do one with like 3 different, everybody kind of goes? Isn't that worth like double?
Yeah.
And then you also can double.
All right. Let's do it.
I'm like, I don't even know what the number is.
This is a tough one.
Because we might be putting out numbers that aren't even possible in the dozen. And on the graphic, Jeff's going to be like, that's not even possible.
We can run it by him.
Oh, to get people talking about the dozen. That's fine.
I think I just picked the number that's impossible.
I think I did.
I might have too.
Wait.
No, I definitely,
Maybe.
I think I did.
No, I didn't.
No, because
I
they
didn't.
can miss points and then nobody gets points.
All right, so read them off. I think we're all in there.
All right. Riggs 26,
Fucking
Alex
unbelievable.
21, Frankie 24, Trent 26.
God.
I think those are
I'm
good numbers.
stymied everywhere.
Oh, because I was thinking 24. If there's 12 rounds, they both get 2 points. I'm basically maxing out. But then I guess that's right. If people don't get answers and other people double, yeah. I
There's
guess
a
it could go up
variance
to, like,
there for sure.
And what if there's bonus overtimes and all this stuff? If it's tied, maybe it keeps going.
Plus, like you always have the option to steal. So if one team doesn't get it, the other team could
Right.
get it. You know, so it's like
Correct.
the points can really add up.
Thursday night, that's live, right?
I believe so.
So tonight it's live.
Yeah, check out the dozen. And then my final one. What will the high be in Barstool, Indonesia on Saturday, June 22nd?
Oh,
Okay.
in Fahrenheit.
What is it with these?
Celsius or
Whatever the
Fahrenheit?
normal one is that we
Well,
Americans
it's
use.
on-
Ours is Fahrenheit.
Indonesia.
I go on this website that is random location generator, and I pick the one that I know the least about because then I know all of us will know the least about, and I
I
don't
have
know
no
what
idea.
season it is or anything.
I don't know what season it is. I have no clue because I was looking at a clip that came out the other day from China, and it was like it was a blizzard.
Right.
Oh, fuck.
Listen, I don't know much, but I know this group has no idea what's going on in Indonesia.
Fuck.
What is the high going to be in Barstool, Indonesia on Saturday?
This could be really embarrassing.
We could be so wrong. All right. Riggs 81, Frankie 55, Trent 63, Alex 87.
All right.
63. Fuck! I thought for sure I would get like a huge chunk there.
So all over the
Yep.
place.
Those are the 4 closest to the pins of the week.
All right, that's good.
Oh man. Okay, I love it.
Presented by Fireball Whiskey.
Let's go Fireball. Come on, baby. All right. We do a little from the gallery and then we're out of here.
I believe so.
From the gallery, brought to you by TaylorMade. We love TaylorMade. I believe right now we're hyping up the TaylorMade, the new TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X golf balls. For folks who don't know, the TP5X, half a club longer. So we did the whole deal. We were down in TaylorMade. We were in Florida. I was at the Kingdom. We did the little test where we tested the older version. We tested the newer version, half a club longer. And then the TP5 is the softest 5-layer tour ball in TP5. It's phenomenal. So what if the golf ball you're playing isn't the number one ball for you? You got to meet the all-new TP5 and TP5X from TaylorMade. Head to TaylorMadeGolf.com today. Find the number one ball for you. We've got Chris. Chris says, should we kick a guy off our 8-person annual Ryder Cup trip who cheated not once but twice on the last trip at Paynes Valley? Next year's Pinehurst, he's one of the original 8 and has been on every single trip since 2020.
Wow. I'm going to Paynes Valley for my first years. This is my inaugural buddies trip in October. We got 16 guys going, so I hope no one does anything bad because that would really mess up a big crew. I guess it depends on how egregious it is. Did he ruin the final score? Did he ruin? I mean, you're ruining the integrity of it by just doing it in general. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was pretty hot. Things got heated. You know, the fact that they're saying it happened twice. He's an original member. They don't even know if they want to bring him back. It had to have been something pretty serious. I think you give him one more shot now that this has been brought up on a national scale on a podcast. I think it's probably going to hit home for this guy. I don't think you want to leave one of the original members home. I think you just got to give him one last shot, because then you're just like losing your friend forever. I mean, over like a golf dispute. If you leave him off the next trip, that's pretty fucking brutal. Like, you're just not going to bring him to Pinehurst. Like, yeah, he's an asshole. We all have an asshole friend, but like, come on, man.
What did this guy do? I was taking a piss.
So Chris said, and Frankie's right. We're gonna really get the group going that they're talking about here, because Chris said, should we kick a guy off our 8-person annual Ryder Cup trip who cheated not once but twice on the last trip at Paynes Valley? Next year's Pinehurst, he's one of the original 8 members of the group and has been on every single trip since 2020.
Fuck.
I don't know. You kick him off. I'm with you, Frankie. I think you got to talk to him. It kind of depends. It sounds like he's a pretty key, like, social member of the group. If he's like a fringy social member of the group, like, you know what I'm talking about, he's not like one of the more like beloved core guys in the group, then like it's a little bit easier to maybe kick him off. But if it sounds like he's one of the key core guys of the group, one of the original members, tough to kick your buddy off.
Also, how's he doing this? Like, how are the guys not just calling him out and just be like, no, like, what is he saying? He made a 4 and he made a 5. Just be like, no, you made a 4. And then just like, if he's one of your buddies, just fucking argue with him right there. Who gives a fuck?
It also depends how he feels getting his balls busted about it for the rest of however long this trip goes.
Like, he's got to become the guy that was cheating last year. Oh, what are you going to pull the ball out of the bunker? Like, it's just got to be right. There's got to be a bunch of things.
Every time he wins a match, anytime there's a little bit of something,
they're
like,
sure about that? Yeah.
And if if he gets offended and is like, "Fuck you," then he's out. But if he's like, I'm the guy, then he's in.
If he leans into it, he hits one way right, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll find that one over there." Like that,
he's in.
That's good stuff. You're in. So yeah. Good luck with that. They're going to have to figure that out. That's a tough spot to be in. Don't cheat. If you just don't cheat, that probably won't happen.
It's a buddy's trip. Fucking hold the integrity of it. Come on.
If you fucking lose, you lose. It's a boys' trip. You don't want to be. And then they kick you off the trip. Then you're not going to like the fantasy football draft. You're not going
get left
to like
off
an
the trip.
engagement party.
You're getting kicked out of like that's your buddies are going there. You went for the first 4 years and then you're just getting left home. You're clearly the golfer of the friends. Like, you're in a big group of golfing friends and you're just getting left home. That's bad.
Can't have that. Drew says, very simple. If Ted Scott were on the bag for Rory at the US Open, does Rory win the tournament? And he goes, I'm going to give the examples of the 8-iron instead of a 7-iron when Rory hit it over the green on the 15th and made bogey. Maybe someone knows how to calm his head better after a short miss on 16, not leaving his chip below the hole on 18. Do you think if he had Ted Scott on the bag instead of Harry Diamond, his boy, would he have performed better under that pressure?
Ted Scott's definitely a great caddy, but Scottie Scheffler has elevated Ted Scott more than like we're seeing the genius of Ted Scott. Do you know what I mean? Like
I think so.
I don't want to discredit him in any way.
You're starting
he's got more money than everybody, so he doesn't give. What?
Sorry, get into a little Belichick Brady conversation here. Better watch what you're saying. Who's more important? You know what I'm saying?
Scotty's more important.
Right.
He's hitting the shots.
Right. So it was never Belichick.
I think Brady is so important. You need guys who can do it.
You know what I'm saying? That's pretty similar.
I'm a Brady guy too in this one. If we're going to really do it right here, I just think, I mean, he goes to Tampa, he wins the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm just like.
Now you do get these perfect storms like you got with Brady and you get with Ted Scott and Scotty, where it's like everything works and everybody's great, and then you're going to win a bunch and people are going to be like, wow, this is incredible. But you still need the guys that can make the throws and hit the shots.
I think that Scotty and Ted are perfect for each other. I don't know that Ted would be as good for anyone else. They've got the whole, Sunday sermon stuff going on. They're clearly in the same headspace. They definitely go home and I don't know if they pray together or whatever they do. They definitely,
I think they pray together. The God-fearing.
They definitely have this connection that it might not work with Rory. It might not work with someone like Bryson. It's working for them.
Yeah.
Scottie Scheffler hasn't always been the best golfer in the world. Clearly, whatever's happening right now in this 2-year span, they found a really good connection, and that is working for those two. So yeah, this can't be like a Harry Diamond slander. It's Rory.
I don't think so.
Rory just he let everything get to him. He hit the bad shots. He missed the putts. I mean, they had the right reads. I don't know. He just left that putt short-sided, amateur side. He missed it at low of the hole. That's on you, man.
Right. And the way that I'm giving Scotty credit, more credit than I would probably Ted Scott. I'm giving Rory more of the blame. You're Rory.
Correct.
Hit the putts, hit the shots. I know it's a tough golf course, it's a tough day, a lot of pressure, but he's the guy standing over the ball.
Also, why is his caddy not getting any flowers or any congratulations for getting Rory in the position to win major championships? He's only going to get oh, you guys hit one over the green and then you didn't leave the chip short. It's what about all the amazing other calls that he made to get this guy a 2-stroke lead with 5 holes to go?
Great point. I also the shot on 15. I don't even think it was wrong club. It was he tried to hit this flighted low shot. They did a great bit on it on live from, but it was his ball apexed at 90 feet or something, and Bryson's apexed at 140 feet or something like that. It was Bryson hit this high towering, same iron Rory hit in there. Rory hit this low one that went over. Bryson had a really good look for birdie. He ended up 3-putting it, but he had a really good look for birdie, and Rory had to have a miracle kind of hole just to get out of there with a bogey. And so he just kind of hit the wrong shot shape, but you're right. Caddy can only get him so far. I don't think Harry Diamond's in any way changing anything to make Rory make that 2.5-foot putt that everybody should just make. It's dude, you just got to fucking hit the shots under the pressure. Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty much all I got. I know we're supposed to have Matthieu Pavon on the show, who hopefully get more and more insight into this U.S. Open, like we talked about a ton. That U.S. Open was as good as it gets. Probably the best major we've seen since 2019 when Tiger won the Masters. And yeah, there's just been a ton of talk about it. So I'm glad we were able to kind of, let it play out a little bit more, have a bigger discussion about it. We'll be back next week. We've got 4th of July's coming up, a little summertime golf action. So other than that, anybody have anything else?
No, stick around for the interview. It's a good insight. It's a good perspective on what we just said is one of the greatest U.S. Opens of all time. This guy is there for every single shot. He got to see Bryson, all of this stuff, how he handled it, all the shots that were hit, why he didn't succeed. I mean, that's really good insight for such an important championship. It's great to have the guy that was down there at the end. So stick around for that. And I got nothing else, man. I'm playing the Creek Club today when this comes out.
Ooh.
Just an absolute unbelievable, not that many people from around the country might know this place, but a Long Island, just mysterious. Oh, the creek. Yeah. It's like, it's that one that goes all the way out to the water. It's like, it's fucking, this place is legit. The creek is legit. And I'm very excited. It's one of those ones I'll be cleaning the balls, cleaning the
Marking them
the
up.
heads, marking the balls tonight. Bring it whenever you bring the bag in from the trunk of the car and you bring it in and it's like next to the kitchen and you know that
You're
like you're just
excited.
looking at it, like there's something going on. Because every other round of golf, you just like, oh yeah, the clubs are in the car. Let's get to the golf course. This is a serious one.
Get a pencil.
I'm gonna get a pencil for sure. I've played the
Don't
creek
forget a
before,
pencil.
but I'm just excited to get back. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, we'll be back next week. Stick around for this interview with Matthieu Pavon. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
The most prestigious golf courses in the country have trusted Imperial with the design of their headwear for over 100 years. They remain the number one headwear in golf today. Licensed collections made from Imperial in partnership with all kinds of great organizations, PGA of America, PGA Tour, LPGA, USGA. They're the official headwear of the AJGA. They include styles. They got events, the Phoenix Open, the Players Championship, the President's Cup, the US Open, the PGA Championship, and more. Imperial also knows custom hats. Customers can mix and match to design your own or upload a logo of your choice to custom.imperial1916.com to order custom Imperial headwear. They got no minimums, quick turn times, and free shipping. Imperial hats are just phenomenal.
Yep, got one on right now. You could just tell that the integrity of the rope is different. It's tighter, it's thinner. It looks like it's going to be there. It's going to survive a nuclear event, this hat. It's just got great structure to it. The inside is so comfortable. For a guy with a feminine forehead, sometimes I get a little bulgy on the forehead. It's kind of hard to find a hat that feels comfortable on the top of the crown, especially up here. These Imperial hats are built differently. I'm telling you guys right now, give them a shot. That you may not have ever had an Imperial hat, make sure you go try one because they are the most comfortable that you can get.
It's just that trusted name at this point, too, right? You go in there, you're looking at different hats. You're not sure which one you get, what's going to hold up. You see one, check the label, Imperial. You know you're getting the best stuff. Shop all of Imperial's collections today at imperial1916.com and use code BARSTOOL to get 20% off your first order and be on the lookout for Barstool Golf Imperial headwear coming to your local pro shop soon. That is imperial1916.com. 20% off with that code BARSTOOL. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we teased this quite a bit. We're joined by a very special guest, second time on the show in the last month or so, coming off just a whirlwind, hell of a year. I loved you on the coverage because every time they kind of had a couple seconds to kill, they would just talk about how happy you were to be here, how nice of a guy you are, how excited you are to be playing golf in the U.S. And here you are smack dab in the middle of the U.S. Open. Now you've had a couple of days to process it. You know, what are you kind of looking back on? How awesome was last week for you overall?
That was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, first time ever being paired in the last group of a major. First, it's a pretty big experience. And second, being paired with Bryson, who's the guy, like the home guy, right? American, playing the Open in America. And the winner of the tournament. I mean, it couldn't be better than that, to be fair.
You've had a great year. We've talked about this when you were on the show. You know, you've won at Torrey Pines. You had a great week at the Masters. This was a bit of a new level. What were the nerves? You know, I think a lot of people saw Rory up there and they saw Bryson up there and they saw other names up there. And then they saw Pavon, who, unless you've been paying attention this year, you know, is not a name that many people who were tuning to that broadcast knew. And I think a lot of people were surprised by how well you kind of handled the weekend. 69-71, nothing to scoff at out there. What were your nerves like, and how did you feel like you handled it? And was it different than the tournaments you had played already this year?
To be fair, I haven't felt like it was really different when I was on the course. Which is funny, is like the less stress I got was on the first tee. I was really stressed when I woke up. I was like almost wanted to throw up. I had my belly like a little bit tight. I wasn't feeling great in the morning. I was like, okay, I feel something is really happening today. And the more I get closer to the tee, the better I was feeling. And on the first shot, I was like, I felt like a lot of freedom, to be fair. And it's funny how the body works. Sometimes you're really stressed on the first tee, sometimes not. And I was feeling like no stress. And I think I quite managed well those big emotions because they're quite big. I mean, you you hear it Bryson, all the crowd cheering for him. They've been really respectful to me, but really cheering, pushing, giving all the energy they had to Bryson. It was a special feeling just being on the side and feeling this. It was something that I've never experienced before, and I had kind of learned fast and tried to handle it the way I could.
When you're on the driving range and you're in the practice area, and the other guys around start to dwindle down, and it starts to, when you show up, there's probably 10 or 12 guys around, and by the time it's getting close to your tee time, Rory walks off. I'm sure you could hear all kinds of hooting and hollering when he walks off. It's just you and Bryson there getting your lap. Do you start to, I know you're saying as you get closer to your tee time, it got easier, but does it start to get almost a little awkward of like, all right, brother, it's just you and me here. Like everybody else is gone.
Yeah. It is really like this. I'm not saying I wasn't stressed, but it's funny how the body can work sometimes. I don't know, when I step on the tee and it was me to play, sometimes I have awkward feeling, or I can be almost shaking, pegging the ball on the tee. And that time I felt like I had like more freedom than usual. And those moments are really funny. Like the way you said it, I really felt it started to be special when actually Rory left the range, because the grandstand behind, they start to go, Rory, come on, Rory, and stuff like this. And I was like, ooh, okay, I can feel the atmosphere behind me. I was just trying to hit my baby buttercut fades on the range, and all of a sudden you feel like there is a superhero like walking right behind you. So yeah, that was a fun moment to experience.
Was that your first time meeting Bryson? Because this is your first time playing on the PGA Tour. I know you've played some majors before. Had you met him? And what was that conversation on the first tee like, if any? I know usually with guys, Sunday of a major, it's pretty quiet and pretty serious. But Bryson, the whole weekend was like, it was basically a stand-up comedy show. He was talking to everybody and within earshot. He was talking to the fans. Did he chat you up?
Yeah, I think Bryson is a super nice guy. I think the media didn't really help him over the last few years, but for me, he was really gentle, very respectful. He's a guy who you can talk to really easily. He's a really easy guy, and I just remember him as the guy coming to me at the Masters, not knowing him, barely. He doesn't really know me either. And he just saw me winning a few months ago, and he stepped in and just shake my hand and said, good job, dude. That was an awesome win at Torrey. And when a guy like him, already like U.S. Open champion and one of the best guys in the world, just the simple things like this show you how respectful and gentle is that guy. And he was super nice during all the round. We could talk about different things. I had one or two questions about the drives, because he had a driver I never saw the brands before, so I was asking him how cool it was to try everything, almost every driver brands in the world, because he's now contract free with Cobra. So it was just like some nice and gentle world all day, and from the beginning to the last putt on 18, he was just a super nice guy.
Did it change at all on the last 3 or 4 holes? Because I know from my vantage point, things started to get. We didn't even really talk with my family. We weren't talking as much the last 4 or 5 holes, because the picture started to become pretty clear of, okay, this is kind of what's happening, and the crowds were insane out there. They were loud. They were so into it. They were chanting kind of both of those guys' names. Did he didn't change at all throughout the whole day with you? He didn't get quieter. He didn't get like that.
The thing is, like, you have up and downs in the day. It's like a golf game. You have bogeys and birdies, and this is the way also where or Chad, let's say, we were talking at some points, quiet on a few stretch of hole, then get back to talk. It is not really control, it's just feelings. Like when you want to talk and ask a question, whatever, you just do it. And that was nice. Also, I think maybe gives him a little bit of freedom on 17, 18. Because we had fun words. He saw me like putting my 5-iron from 215 on 17, and I tried to chip like a 5-iron to get to the back pin, and he went just for 8-iron. All right, 8-iron, 215 yards, 3 clubs different. And I walked down the tee box, and he kind of slightly run into me, and he said, "Yeah, that was a gentle like 8-iron." And I was like, "Damn, that was a smoked 8-iron right there." So we were kind of laughing, and maybe dropped a little bit like pressure from his shoulders, and I think that was a nice and funny moment.
So I remember I was standing on 17. I was like kind of long and left of 17, which was just on the right side of the 18th tee. And those two, the green and the tee, are basically right next to each other. Like I think it was like you went, and then Cantlay went, and then Roar. Like you guys had to basically alternate because of the crowd and stuff. Could you tell what was going on the entire day? Because it seemed like the greens and tees were pretty close, and it seemed like Bryson and Rory, despite them not playing together, they knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, we could know exactly what was going on. Even more, I wouldn't say on the front nine, but the back nine, we knew everything. Like you could hear the crowd in front of us, like, okay, Rory made birdie for sure. And then you can hear on the back nine, 15, you hear that's a bogey, both guys behind the greens. And then 16, you're here again, oh, so you're like, wow, I mean, looks like he was close, so he made another bogey. And then you kind of know everything what's happening, and it feels like almost you are playing a foursome.
That's wild. Yeah, and it could you could tell on the broadcast because they did a really good job of saying, Bryson is very aware that Rory made yet another birdie, and they were kind of going through the whole thing. And we were talking in the last show with Dan about how an old school golf course like that, with the tees so close to the previous green, that there's a lot of crossover, but there's also almost a lot of awkward moments where it's like guys wouldn't even tee off before somebody hit into the green behind them, and all those sorts of things. You had a interesting round, a very solid round. You had, I believe, 3 bogeys in the first 8 holes, but then you started to make a couple birdies. Was there a point in the day for you where since you guys are so aware of what's going on in front of you, where you thought, or when you realized maybe I'm not going to be able to catch these guys? And then did you change your game plan at all? Were you trying to solidify a certain finish, or did you think up until the end, like, maybe I'll hold my tee shot here? Like, you never know.
No, the thing is, I had a game plan since the first day at Pinehurst. I had to be really below the holes. If I have any doubt in between clubs, is the shortest one to get sure I have short of the green, get kind of a uphill chip or putt, even if it's along like 60-footer or even more. And I kind of try to stick to it a little bit. I mean, not a little bit, like all day, all week. It's just that at some point, when you see like Rory making mistake on 15 and 16, and I saw also Bryson making a mistake on 15, I'm like, dude, if you birdie that 16, then you get 2 holes with back hole location, which are, for me, I think not the toughest, because you can still bounce on the middle of the green and release that ball. And I was like, oh, you can do something, like you can sneak behind from the behind
especially
goals,
the pin
and
on 18. You could cut one into that pin on 18 for sure.
Yeah, and I was like, I felt like I had to stick to my plan, but when I got to 16, 17, 18, I almost felt like I had a real chance, and then I missed that putt on 18, and then I had a tough putt on 17, and I missed it, and then after it's gone. But it's funny because, as you said, we were that close with the people in front that we were really feeling what's going on, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I felt I get the most of my game. This is where both of them, they were getting some struggles. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be interesting.
It was just a crazy day of golf. I felt lucky to have witnessed it. I can't even imagine what it was like being inside the ropes on 18. How good was that up and down that he made? And were you talking to your caddy at all? Like, man, I don't know, this is a tough shot. Like, kind of walk me through your experience of watching that up and down.
The thing is, like, that 18 shows, I think, shown the world how good Bryson is as a short game player. Because me knowing Bryson just being like the dude who rips it like 400 yards, like most of the people know, it's good to see how impressive he is with the short game, how clutch he is. Because that day, it not happened once. It happens like 2 or 3 times where he could have lost the tournament early on the round. 8. I mean, he's in the
in a
wood.
bad spot.
He's in the
Bad
wood,
spot
in
on
the
8.
trees on the right. Then he missed it long left, which is the worst spot, I would say, almost. And then he has a downhill, that drain. You have to carry the ball 20 yards in the air, land it soft, make sure it's not too long because you can get over the green again and probably end up with a 6 or a 7. And he made up and down. That's for me. That up and down there, birdieing 10 and up and down on 11. This is where he wins the tournament. Because this could go like +1 or +2 on that stretch and lose the tournament, and he's 1 under, and he keeps the momentum, and then in the end he shows the nerve on 18, and 18 was just like, again, showing how good he is around the greens and how good he can handle the pressure.
I love the U.S. Opens, and especially a one like we had this last week, because the short game is such an important part of the game, and you guys practice it at the highest level so much, and it gets talked about a lot. But there's a lot of weeks where it doesn't come in as much as it does in the majors, and especially a place like Pinehurst, because everyone's missing greens. Even if you're hitting it the best, you're playing the best, at some point you're just gonna have to have huge up and downs to keep yourself in the tournament or keep yourself in the lead. And it's such an important skill. It's maybe the hardest thing to do under pressure, because it's all touch and feel. And like you mentioned, on 8 with Bryson, on even I think you on the 4th hole had an incredible putt from behind the hole to lag it up
nice,
to a couple inches to save a bogey on what could have been a disaster. Like those touchy-feely ones under pressure on crisp turf all over the place are so impressive. And he did it over and over again under that kind of heat. I just thought that was so impressive. On 18, how did you guys find out? Like, where were you guys when Rory missed his putt on 18?
We were waiting for the green. I think when he missed it, we were close to our ball, ready to hit that second shot, or just, I can't remember exactly, but maybe walking up the 18 or very close to our balls already, and we were like surprised, and we were like, wow, again. Because we heard some roars for the crowd on 15, on 16, on 18, and then we knew like, okay, if Bryson makes par, it's the win. So I think it's crazy. It really shows that golf, the game of golf, like you have chances even if you are away, a few shots away, coming down the stretch. It's never finished. It's never finished.
He actually kind of backed you up on 18. Bryson did. So he plays the shot, and then you had a good birdie look, right? And you missed the birdie look, and it kind of rolls out. And I think it was like just either inside or just outside. I think it was just inside Bryson's ball. And some people were yelling like, "Go and finish it! Go and finish it!"
Yeah.
Why didn't you finish? There's a pretty clear reason.
To be fair, I don't know. I was like so focused on me and making.
But you would have given him the read. It was the same putt, wasn't it?
It was close to the same putt, but it's not even. I think also maybe it was. We talked about it with Bryson after we signed the scorecard, and me, I was just so focused on the present moment. I was like, okay, that's the putt for me to finish solo 5th, and I was like, I don't know why in my mind I felt like if I finish 5th, I got all the major for next year.
Not correct.
Not correct, right? But this is what I said to my caddy. I mean, you can talk to my caddy. I said, like, if I finish solo 5th, I think I get all major next year or whatever. Well, totally mistake. So I end up with like almost like a 4-footer, and the green is pretty bad at that time of the day. I mean, all the players has been walking around and it's dry, and then you have the footprints and stuff like that. And I'm like, just like, I don't want to finish that because it's a 4-footer to finish 5th, like alone. And then after, I just like kind of mark my ball and walk away. And I kind of realized like, damn, it's the winning putt for Bryson. So maybe I should just finish it. And then because I kind of love that momentum, and it's already like 30 seconds to a minute while I've been marking that ball, I'm like, wow, I mean, it's too late. I'm not going to go back now and just finish it. So obviously I was praying in my mind. I was like, just make it, please. of the crowd. Because yeah, I mean, he had a lovely day, and I would just wanted to be respectful to him and Rory at the same time and stuff like this. So I was like, please just make it to make sure I don't get like booed by the crowd. And and then when we got to the recording, I said, Bryson, I'm really sorry, dude. I should have probably finished it, but it was for a solo second, and I don't know why I was focused on that thing and not focused on you. You have to win the tournament and stuff like this. And I don't know why. I apologized so bad to him. And he said, dude, you've done the right thing. I mean, it's important for you. And you've done the right call. And anyway,
also, I think if you had finished, it would have been a big story. Don't you think, Riggs? If he had finished first and he's on the same line, Rory would have called the hit-in.
This is what he said. He said, thanks not doing it because you would have shown me the line. And I think it's not fair for Rory, and I don't want to win it that way. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, because I remember in real time, it's such a golf Twitter thing to be like, oh, he should definitely finish first. It's like, no, actually, you guys are playing a golf tournament. It's like you guys are trying. You should hit the right shot in the right order. If it's like a no-brainer, and
I kind of agree. Like, to be gentle and respectful to maybe the next champ and winner on his home soil and stuff like this, I should have finished it, right? But at the same time, I'm like, I'm thinking about me. It's really important for me and my season to finish solo fifth instead of finish sixth for FedEx Cup points in my first year on the PGA Tour. It's my best finish, in the major. And at the same time, I'm like, also, is it fair also for Rory at the same time that I show the line to Bryson? And Bryson was, again, this is where I see it is such a respectful guy and very gentle. He straight away said, it's not a big deal. Thanks a lot almost doing that because I didn't want it to win that way. And I think you made the right call. So it was maybe a tricky situation because, as you said, Dan, if I would have putt first and make it, then I show Bryson maybe the read. And then maybe guys on social media or whatever said, why Matthieu Pavon did show the line to Bryson, to Rory or whatever, So it was a tough call anyway.
I think you made the right call because
I don't know.
Dan's right.
It was just
could have been
very
more
natural.
Controversial the other way. It
was just very natural. I was so scared to miss that putt because remember we are 18, last round of the tournament, four footer to finish a round. I mean, you don't want to miss that in front of everyone and just like
probably like $200,000. I'll say it so you don't have to. I mean, it's a big putt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a putt when you're like betting for Coke with your friends at at your home golf club. You know what I mean?
It's a big putt. It really is about as big a putt. Yeah, that's a huge.
But I think Bryson might have stepped in.
I'm glad he made it.
I think Bryson, the showman, might have stepped in and said, "No, don't putt it. I don't want to win this way." It would have been an epic moment.
Yeah, but this is clearly what he said to me on the recording. He said, "Mate, you've done the right call." And he said, I think for Rory it's fair, and I just wanted to win it this way. So it's perfect what you've done. So all good.
No, I think that was the right move. Summer is here, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, it's hot. It's going to be 110 this weekend in Arizona. It's 105 here already. I'm going to be in St. Louis. Visiting some family and friends. It's going to be 95 and humid there. So summer's here. We're talking wearing shorts. This is probably more for myself and Trent Daddy. We're talking Peter Millar shorts, baby. That's why we're here to talk all about the always stylish, incredibly comfortable lineup of performance shorts from our great friends at Peter Millar. Their best-selling Salem shorts, wearing a pair right now, which is Peter Millar's Crown Sport line, promises peak performance both on and off the course. Oh, he's got great pants on. As the new shorts wear on the show, Trent's been going nuts, I feel like, with these Salem shorts you've been rocking.
Frankie's not going to want to hear this, but shorts have changed my life. Shorts on the golf course, shorts in everyday life. I was doing the pants thing, and I was on that team for a long time, and then I just slowly started mixing in some shorts, and my legs got tan. People started saying, wow, look at those things. You look incredible, and I would not have been able to show off my toned and tan legs without these Peter Millar shorts. I wear them every time we're at a golf course. I don't even pack pants anymore because I know it's going to be hot. It's 90 degrees in New York right now. It was 95 degrees in Chicago. All I had was shorts. Peter Millar, The shorts are great. My legs look great. And it's a great time to be a shorts guy.
Great. I'm happy for you. You're on the
Thank
other side. It's 81 today on Long Island, so it's still pants weather for me. But
it's
it
89
is
here.
Yeah, 81 right now, Brightwaters.
That's
it
crazy.
is I know. Well, we are down by the water. I don't know if that when you said 90, I was like, is there a 9-degree difference? That's insane. Yeah, it's insane. So I'm not anti other people wearing shorts.
Yeah.
I wear Peter Millar pants, and they have this new. So what's the name of these shorts?
The Salem shorts.
So whatever that they have a new pant that they're also coming out with that they sent us during the Pinehurst week. That it's like a lighter cloth. It's not that 5-pocket pant thicker cloth that's like for the winter or the fall or whatever. Bro, I'm telling you right now, I guess it's a little bit of what you guys are saying, where it's just like if you're wearing a little bit less on the golf course, you feel better. It's like it's changed my pants life. So Peter Millar, they understand. They're going lighter. They're going more comfortable. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You got to feel more comfortable on the golf course.
Be sure to head over, and this is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to be more comfortable and stylish and everything on the golf course. It's better. Head over to petermillar.com/foreplay to check out the entire Crown Sport line for all of your performance needs. That's Peter Millar, the official outfitter of the USGA. Head over to petermillar.com/foreplay. There's been a lot of talk about Pinehurst and the course. I think for the most part, like real golf fans loved it, thought it was phenomenal to watch. It's quite different. There's no rough, obviously the U.S. Open is pretty ingrained in our heads of thick rough, incredibly narrow fairways, thick rough everywhere. If you miss a fairway, you got to kind of chip out. It wasn't that way at all. It was a little bit more of a crapshoot. If you did miss the fairway, whether it's a good lie, bad lie, Scottie Scheffler talked about it today, had a pretty good take on it, basically saying, it really affected my game because usually I know which side of the fairway I can miss on and work my way around the course there. It didn't matter. It was either in a bush or it wasn't. What was your take, of sort of how Pinehurst presented itself as a U.S. Open test?
I think that was nice. I mean, you see the scores. It's not like a golf course like we played Pebble Beach 2 years ago when Gary Woodland won, and it feels like a lot of people were going under par, and it played like maybe one of the easiest U.S. Open maybe. And I think people want to see something tough. And what I liked about it is just that even if you miss the fairway, you still have a chance to go around the green, which is a good thing. But at the same time, going by around those greens can be really bad for you because depending on where you leave the ball, you're going to struggle even to make a bogey. I like kind of those golf course where it's not only like, it's never only just the off the tee, but on the US Open, for sure, if you hit like 12 fairway out of 14, you can have a really good day. And this one was just different. It was more managing where you want to put the ball on the second shot. That was a second shot golf course. And also there are holes where I've never aimed for the green. There are holes I just trying to miss the green to the right spot. It's not even trying to stay on the green, leave the ball on the green. It's just like, I'm going to miss the green and it's going to be right, short, left, whatever. And then from there, I have the best chances to make the up and down. So I think it's just fun. It's just different, and you have to think another way. And I think for me, it was fun. It's also, I finished 5th, so I'm not going to say it was it was just a bad week. But I think having those type of challenges, which are more into irons play and chip, it's fun compared just a ball striker golf course where it's just like drive it 320 yards down the middle, and then after you have again a 5-iron into a bigger green when the ball can kind of stop, and if you miss, you're just a yard away from the green because the rough are so thick. It's just different. It's just different, but good fun.
I wanted to congratulate you. You have officially qualified for the Olympics to represent France, which is awesome.
Let's go.
Your dad never managed to put on the French jersey, so it's nice that someone in the Pavon family can finally accomplish that. Sorry to Michael, Michel. I have a lot of respect for you as a footballer, but I just wanted to get that in there. You looking forward to that? Did it win? I mean, last year that couldn't have been on your radar. Your rise in the game has been so quick.
Yeah, it was quick, and being part of the Olympic in France, it's a huge privilege. I mean, this is the type of things where that you dream all your life, playing majors, being able to compete at the highest level and also get to the Olympics. I mean, I remember with my brothers, we had on the PlayStation 2, we had Athens Olympic Games. So we were doing like all the different running and the swimming on PlayStation, and we were like so happy to have those games. And now I'm gonna be the guy who competes in those games, and which will be also able to go and see all those big athletes winning medals. So yeah, it's just I mean, there could be not a more exciting moment in my career.
That's amazing. That's just going to be phenomenal. Yeah, I think I remember seeing all the guys last time, or I guess what was it 20 when they had the Summer Olympics, and they were all, the best part was them going to all the other stuff, going to the swimming, going to the gymnastics, like showing up to all those events. I remember Ricky got like the tattoo, obviously, of the Olympic rings. I feel like if I got into the Olympics, which I can't even fathom a single sport where it'd be close, that'd be the best part, would be like going and checking out all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. For me, the biggest opportunity, of course, is to win a medal for my country, but it's also like being able to meet all those champs, all those athletes, and sharing moments. There are not many moments in life when you can share like a week with, for me, Teddy Riner, which is one of the biggest judo guy in the world, or swimmers, or runners or whatever. There are so many great guys I want to meet and I have the chance to talk, because there is nothing better to just talk about the different experiences they had in their career. And I think it is really something that I look forward to, and it could help me through my career.
Wow, that's going to be. Do you end up on like a group text or like an email that's like, hey, this is where you need to be for like when we all walk in together as the French athletes? Like, how does that work? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't know. What I know is like I already screenshot all the things I want to go and see on my phone, because we already have kind of the schedule. So I screenshotted everything. I'm like, okay, Friday. Not Friday, but Saturday I'm gonna be there. Sunday I'm gonna be there. Whatever. So it's pretty fun, and also like via the social media, I have some of the guys I talk to, and they will be there. So it's just nice to finally see competing guys like this you've been talking to for a long time through social media, and now you're gonna live the experience and feel the atmosphere, or what could be like a win on the highest highest stage in sport.
Where is the Olympic tattoo going? I know you're getting it.
I'm getting in, but I haven't choose yet. The thing is, like, I have already in my mind what I want on my both arms. It's just a matter of times. So I think it goes somewhere else. Maybe on the back, maybe on the legs. I mean, when you get one,
what about really like Phil Foden? You can get it like right here on the neck.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I kind of still hide a little bit my tattoos for now, but
sponsors won't like that so much, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyways, just it feels like it's a ritual, right? Like, you play the Olympics, you have to get tattoos already.
You gotta do it, especially you're a tattoo guy, dude. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I know.
It's a no-brainer.
Like the side of one of the like above the ankle or something like that. It's
yeah. I go somewhere on my legs or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good. That's really good. Cool. Man, what a year for you! I think you might have a little thing for public courses in the U.S. I mean, I think, we're talking Torrey Pines, we're talking Pebble Beach. I think you were like third at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, that's true.
Pinehurst, fifth in the U.S. Open. You might just be a public course kind of guy. That's the people's golfer right there.
Unfortunately, this week TPC River Highland is not very public, right?
No, I think it's private.
Yeah.
Super private.
I'm gonna struggle again.
Fade Pavon this week. He only likes public courses. That's great. Awesome. Well, man, that was such a fun week. We were talking, I think it was the best major championship since 2019 when Tiger won the Masters, and you were right in the thick of it the whole time. Gutsy performance over the weekend. Fifth place finish gets you all kinds of good stuff, a nice paycheck. You handled all that insanely well. I mean, being right there in the mix with Bryson, like you said, there's USA fans, there's Rory fans, probably weren't the same level of Matthieu Pavon fans yet. You held your own incredibly well. You're out there kind of smiling, playing good golf. So it was really, really fun to watch. I think a lot of people over here become big fans of you this year with how well you've played, and I hope you keep it up. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just nice. As we said, they are like, I talk a lot to my dad about that. And when he stopped his career, he said to me, it's like kind of a little death, it's first death, because there is nothing really bigger than those moments in sport. You will never find that again. Like even I've become a dad, and he has 3 kids, but he said even this is totally different. It's like drug. It's like a shot of adrenaline. And when I was walking up the fairway on 18, I just took my hat off, kind of shake my hand and my head, and I was like, there is nothing in the world, no moment better than that. I was looking at the crowd, walking with that sun going down, the trees. It was just like something that you never forget, and this is what is sport about. It's really cool moments.
You're giving me the chills thinking about it. I can't imagine being inside the ropes, and you performed incredibly well. So that's so impressive. Good luck this week. Good luck in Paris for the Olympics.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have to keep getting you back on. You're a great guest. You got a good perspective.
Anytime.
So, all right,
Anytime.
we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
See you guys.
Do I
Take
call you
care.
Matt? Matt? It's a lot easier than Matthew.
Matt is perfect.
Matt. See you soon, Matt.
See you guys.